Hello there, it's Colin from Rockfiend Publications Scotland, and we're in the Dreadnought tonight in Bathgate with the myth, the legend.
Oh, he did it again. I don't think he'd do it twice.
Hopefully no lies, Mr. Danny Vaughn.
Well, there's always been lies.
Thank you for your time tonight.
My pleasure, thank you.
How are you finding Bathgate?
Well, I only just found it, so I haven't seen much of anything yet.
Yeah.
So just kind of flew in.
Yeah.
But well, it's actually interesting because I've played Edinburgh a number of times. I've played Glasgow a number of times. We're kind of in the middle now. Aren't
Yeah.
We? Okay.
It's a great venue. You know, it's an overlooked venue. It's a great venue.
I've been hearing about the Dreadnought for about 2 years from people saying, oh, you really ought to go there, et cetera, et cetera. And the commonality is that it's kind of, it gets this family vibe thing going on, which is great. I mean, for instance, I play the Diamond Rock Bar in Hawkill, Northern Ireland. It's exactly the same way. It's the people who patronize a place like this patronize it because they like being here, and that's kind of a lost art in clubs. You know, it's something in like 10 years ago, the club owners all decided that it was the bands that had to bring the audience.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, they're supposed to bring some, but you're supposed to supply a place that people want to go, you know, and it seems to be what the Dreadnought's all about.
Yeah. It's well run, family, really, it's done, and you'll see tonight, you'll enjoy it. And it's close to being sold out as well.
Yeah, it's sold out now.
It's sold out and even better. Now, the album eventually arrived.
Yes, decades in the making.
Yeah. How long do you think it actually took, from start, and how sooner would it have been out if Pledge hadn't?
Oh, well, no, the pledge thing didn't interrupt my schedule in the end. The planned schedule went ahead, but I've sort of stopped and started making this album for perhaps 14 years.
Okay.
Something like that. So that even predates traveling. And I just, for whatever, there was always a reason. Not necessarily good ones, but there was always a reason. Usually it would be fear. But it was just a lot of, no, nobody's going to buy into this. This is a little too off, straying off my beaten path, as it were.
Yeah.
And, but, the songs they've lived with me, some of them for quite a long time. And there's a great love there. And those who have heard them would kind of keep giving me the nudge. What are you going to do with that?
Mm-hmm.
I heard you play it acoustically. What could you do with it in the studio? Something like Deep Water. I've always heard in my head with this big horn section and everything like that. So it was a matter of making sure I could do it right, which we were able to. In other words, for something like that, I didn't need to go to a keyboard player and say, well, just do synth the horn section for me. I got a horn player. It sounds great. It's the same with. Yeah, it was the same with, I have a wonderful cellist, a violinist, a keyboard player that can pretty much play anything with keys on it. So, I was really able to tap into a great wealth of musical talent in a very small generated area in South Wales.
Mm-hmm. So you're happy with the end product?
I am completely happy with it.
Yeah,
absolutely. From soup to nuts.
Slightly different style of music.
Yeah.
But, it's still, your vocals are just, it's Danny Vaughn, that's it.
Well, I think the thing is, as I've gone on in my little musical journey, is that you take in stuff from all over the place. I'm a huge fan of some of these wonderful singer-songwriters that I'm sort of attempting to emulate with this record. You get a guy like, say, John Hyatt, Tom Waits, Don Henley, Sting, Bruce Hornsby. These are the guys that I admire to the ends of the earth as songwriters. So this is just kind of my, can I do that? I don't know. Let's find out. And I never did it with the intention of releasing an album of it. And eventually, there were just a number of these songs sitting around. One or two would sneak into my solo albums, the oddballs that would show up. So this is an entire album of oddballs, and I love it.
It's proven very, very popular.
It really has. Totally to my happy surprise. In fact, I was getting nervous because it had been out for weeks and didn't get one bad review. I was so happy when I finally read somebody. I was like, I don't get this. This is just, what's he doing? I was like, oh, thank goodness.
Because someone's being paid.
Yeah. You just keep thinking, not everyone can like anything. So it's a good problem to have. You're looking around thinking, wow, everybody's really understanding this.
That's a good point. Definitely a good point. So tonight, acoustic show. Are we going to get a good few tracks from the album?
Yeah, for sure. You know, as you say, it's sold out tonight, so chances are I'm thinking there's going to be a really, really good positive energy in here.
Yeah.
I haven't done one of these solo shows yet that was under 2 hours.
Okay.
It just goes, and it usually ends with me going, "Does anybody know what time it is?" You know, and somebody yells out, "It's still 8 o'clock!" You know, so that means something's working.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't plan my sets out. I'll sketch out the first couple songs that I want to do. It's never the same thing twice. And again, I have kind of a feeling that tonight's going to be one where I can break out more than my fair share of kind of B-sides and oddballs, and it'll be okay.
Right, okay.
You know, so we'll see. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
And if I'm losing them, we'll go straight into my greatest hit. You know.
Hits, come on.
Yeah. Well, maybe one, maybe two.
So, after this tour, what's next with Danny Vaughn, Ty Kettle, Snake Oil?
All of it, all of the above. Actually, so I'm doing this tour on and off. UK dates will finish at the end of August. And then as soon as I get home, Monday morning, I get up and I'm starting to work on songs and writing demos with Dan Reed for the Snake Oil album that we plan on releasing in March when we tour in March. So that's all going on. I'm going to be doing this. I'm taking the Myths, Legends, and Lies acoustic to Europe in October. Some places that I personally have never played, like Czech Republic and or Austria, you know, on my own, never played it. A little bit in Germany, Greece, you know, so we're really pushing the boat out on that. And that will take me through the first half of October, and then I start recording the Snake Oil album with Dan right after that, through October. Just in time to get back into the UK for Taiketo to play 25th and 26th of October in Sheffield and Nuneaton, where we'll be premiering the live album, you know, which we recorded the Strength in Numbers anniversary tour in the UK, and now we're releasing that as a live record. It came out really good too.
Yeah.
I was really impressed with the recording of it.
That's good. And is that going out through Frontiers?
It will be, yeah. The cool thing that we're doing is the people that are coming to the shows, the price of your ticket includes you getting the CD when you walk through the door.
Oh, that's just
So the price is a little higher. It's like £25, but you get the CD. There's a band hangout going on. It's going to be kind of an all Taiketo evening. Yeah, kind of
that
thing.
sounds good. And is the ticket still available?
Yes, I believe. In both. They're selling well, but yes, there's still some tickets available.
Yeah. Now you moved to Spain. Is that correct?
Yeah, 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel like the European audiences differ? You know, and living in Europe compared to the American. You know, when you're Geffen days and stuff.
Yeah, well, gosh, that I would have to go almost that far back to remember American audiences. You know, we do play occasionally over there. We'll do the cruises, things like that. But I haven't been in an American venue, an American club in ages. So I don't know if I'm qualified to answer that, really.
Right. So is there not a big fan base for Taiketo down here?
Not that much. You know, we did a thing recently in Atlanta that was a lot of fun, and it was nice. Kind of, we hope, you know, we're trickling back into the States a little bit. I'm a little concerned. Some people in the States, there's a little bit more of a view of bands like us and all the guys that came up at the same time. There's that nostalgia vibe that's going on. In Europe and the UK, I find that it still seems much more alive and current, if you will. You know, it's not just living over past days. People are quite happy that we're still recording new material.
Exactly. That's just something that we speak about all the time in Rockfiend. You know, bands made it 20, 30 years ago. The new bands still need to make it, and the older bands still need to make new music to keep people interested. Because you can't, as you say, you know, you're hit. You know, you can't ride along.
Yeah, well, some of them don't. I mean, some of the guys that we see on the Monster Rock cruise and things like that, they're just playing the songs they're known for, you know, and that's one way to do it. I have no criticism of that. It's just, it doesn't suit me.
Yeah.
You know, much to my surprise, at this particular advanced age of my life, I find myself on more creative output than I have been in years.
Right, okay.
You know, it's like the doors got thrown open and it just won't stop.
Now, obviously, back in the day, you were signed to Geffen. Money would have been a sort of object, throw money. Would you prefer to be in that area you know, where people were throwing money at you, do what you want, you know, you're going to get love, or do you prefer it now that you've really got to put out something for the heart that you hope the fans are going to love, and you more or less finance yourself? Is there a big difference in it?
There was a huge difference that I'd be hard pressed to answer about preferring.
Yeah.
If I was going to go back to the way things were in 1991, I'd only do it if I could bring the knowledge that I have now with me. Because boy, did they throw a lot of money away, and I wouldn't have allowed that. We'd have had much more sunk into the band and the band's efforts. As it was, we were fairly unique with that. You know, we got our publishing advance like a lot of other bands did, and we put it into the band rather than everybody going off and buying Corvettes. You know? But what I love about what I'm doing now is this direct connection. You know, I learned a lot of that from working with Dan Reed, actually. You know, you stop taking for granted, and you start realizing, well, you start to know your audience almost personally. You know, there's an awful lot of people that I will know by name or at least by face. And because there's so much contact online and things like that, you start to remember a bit of people's stories, something about their family, you know, a lost loved one, all this sort of stuff. And so it becomes a kind of a very intimate relationship. And I like that a lot. I apparently have been underselling myself for many years, according to the people around me. And this album is an example of that. I just honestly thought, I had to come to the point where I said, look, I'm just going to do it. I know nobody's going to really give it a go because it's not a rock and roll album, but I need to do this. And I was completely wrong. You know, people gave it a go. People are listening to it. People are enjoying it. So that is just a huge reward.
You can tell it's from the heart. You know, like, I didn't know it'd taken me so long, you know, to write and record it. You know, it's a good story for them.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, well, one song on the album, The Missouri Kid, is actually the first song I ever wrote by myself. So it's 40 years old. And I never intended on recording it. I actually included it on the list of songs to do for this album only because I thought historically it has a place.
Yeah.
And then I started laying it down for the guys, and people, you know, the keyboard player Nigel was putting some really good piano parts on it and things like that. And all of a sudden, you know, several of the guys in the band looked up and said, "This could be my favorite song on the album." You know, really? You know, it surprised me. When you're in the middle, you can't tell.
Yeah.
You know, but by way of sort of perspective, I attended a question and answer session a couple of years back with Roger Daltrey, and I was just punter. Anyone have a question? Me. And I asked him. I said, when you guys were in the studio, you know, like midway through Tommy, did you look at each other and say, "Wow, you know, we're in the midst of creating something totally different. You know, this is a benchmark what we're doing." And he didn't even take a breath. He went, "Absolutely not." So we didn't have a fucking clue. I understand that now. At that time, I thought, how can that be? How can you be doing songs of that intricacy? You know, the first really rock opera, you know, double-sided, the whole thing, and not know it's special. But when you're in the middle, it's the work. That's what it really is.
Okay. I'm going to call it quits at that, Dan.
All right.
Taking enough of your time. Thank you very much.
No, it's my pleasure. Thank you.
Do you have a message for your fans at all, or UK or Europe, you know, whatever?
I always just say thanks. You know, I mean, I'm here because they're allowing me to be here. You know, and the pledge debacle was proof of that, because it really should have died right there. I mean, you know, they basically stole over £20,000 from me. Well, not from me, from them.
Yeah.
And, you know, didn't put it over to me. And because everybody acted fast and reacted so well, most people got their money back. Mm-hmm. And then they were actually kind enough to give it back to me in another form. Personally, I think I might have walked away after the first shot and said, "No, that didn't go really well. Sorry, you're on your own." But, you know, they really insisted this album get done. You know, and so the whole thing has been a major revelation. Even to the point of, you know, when I did it, I did my best to get the word out to people that if you can't get your money back from Pledge, I will still send you whatever you bought. Oh, okay. You know, regardless, because you shouldn't suffer. You know, you did no wrong. And so, you know, we fulfilled all the various things. And I just got this lovely note the other day. I have no idea why it took so long, but this gentleman in Newcastle just got his signed CD and his t-shirt. He said he'd had a problem with his mail for the last couple of months or something. And he said he did get his money back from Pledge, but he never got around to reinvesting it, you know, to send it again. He said, so now he's got the stuff and he's really happy. Could he please send me the money? You know, so that's the kind of luck I've been having. I can't complain.
Your fans love you. You know, that's the thing. They appreciate what you do.
There's a lot of mutual respect, and that's part of what helps with these shows. I mean, for whatever reasons, between flying and everything else, I'm a little tired, a little worn down, you know, but that's not a complaint. It's just my physical state. That will change down there, you know, because it just, there's a playoff, and I say this a lot, you know, usually a great show musically is not because the artist was great. It's because the artist and the audience created a cycle together. It's like we all banded together and say, let's see if we can make a moment happen here. You know, and I've been very fortunate that everybody's been here to do that.
Awesome. Thank you again.
No, my pleasure. Thank you, guys.